Abu Dhabi is building an island almost the size of Manhattan, but here's the part that should make you stop. They're not filling it with skyscrapers, they're actually doing the opposite. They're building fewer homes so residents have even more space. That means more beach per person than pretty much anywhere else in the region right now. And right now, one of the most important communities on the island has just sold out. So let me walk you across Hudayriyat properly. I'm going to show you from one end all the way to the other. I'm going to tell you how it works and show you whether or not this new Golf Estates launch was actually worth it. So, what actually is Hudayriyat? It's a natural island sitting just off the coast of Abu Dhabi. Not some far out development you need an hour to get to. It's right there next to the capital. And the developer building it is Modon. Now that part matters more than a lot of people think, because Modon is owned by ADQ, which is one of Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth funds, sitting over $250 billion. So the people building this island are basically the government's own investment team. And that takes away the single biggest risk of off-plan property anywhere in the world, which is actually the developer running out of money or just losing interest before they actually finish the project. Here, that risk is as low as it gets. Now, the size. Hudayriyat is 51 million square meters. That number probably means nothing until you actually picture it. So for anyone watching back in the UK, here's a comparison that makes it completely easy to understand. Take Kensington, Chelsea, Mayfair, three of the most expensive postcodes in London. Add all three together, Hudayriyat comes to 4 times bigger than that. This is not a neighborhood, it is closer to a small city. And for anyone else watching from around the world, just picture Manhattan. Hudayriyat is almost the same size as Manhattan, but instead of being packed with towers and millions of people, it's being built as low-density lifestyle island for a tiny fraction of that. And this is the thing that I really want you to understand, because when a private developer builds, the goal is simple: cram as many units as possible and make the most profit. But when the government builds, the maths is completely different. They are not trying to squeeze the land dry, they are trying to lift the whole reputation of the city and pull in the kind of people Abu Dhabi wants living here. So the scarcity on this island is not just a sales line someone made up. It is locked into the master plan, and you cannot go back and add density later because the decision has already been made. Let me walk you across the master plan, because once you see the layout, all of it makes sense. Think of Hudayriyat in 3 parts. You've got west, central, and east. The western end is the engine of the island. Now that is the lifestyle and sports side, so I'll come back to that in a second. The center is the residential heart, where most of the communities you've probably heard of actually sit. And the eastern end is the newer side, where all of the new phases are still being released. So it is one island, but there are 3 different layers, each doing a different job. Now keep that picture in your head, because everything else fits inside it. Now let's look at the western end, because here is where Hudayriyat really separates itself from everything else. Modon has already built Surf Abu Dhabi, which is the biggest artificial wave pool in the world. There's a velodrome built to international championship level. There's 220-kilometer cycling network running across the island, plus Circuit X and a serious amount of outdoor and running facilities. Now here's the bit that most people miss. On a normal off-plan launch, you're buying a promise. You move in and then you wait years for the area to actually come alive. Whereas on Hudayriyat, a huge chunk of that lifestyle infrastructure is already built and open. So you're not actually betting that it will happen, it's already happened. And that changes everything about how risky this island actually is. Now the residential side, and I'll keep this simple so nobody gets lost. In Hudayriyat Central, you have the names that you've probably already come across. Noya, where the villas are being built up on the man-made hills, so every row of homes sits above the one in front and keeps its view. Naseem, which is the bigger family villa community, and Noya Village, the townhouses that actually sit between the hills. Around all of that, you have retail, parks, a beach club, and a 5-star hotel. And one small detail tells you how seriously this is all being planned. Now, Modon grew the trees and the green spine early instead of leaving the landscaping until last like most developers do. So when people move in, they'll already be surrounded by greenery, not tiny saplings. And here's the track record, because this is the part that genuinely changes the entire conversation. Every single residential release on this island so far has sold out. Noya Village, 378 townhouses gone in the same day at around 2 billion dirhams. Wadim, over 1,700 plots sold out, around 5.5 billion dirhams. Bashir, the waterfront community, sold out in one day around 3 billion dirhams. And brokers who have been active on the island say early buyers are sitting on something like 30 to 40% appreciation already. Now, past performance is never a guarantee, and I'll always be honest with you about that. But a pattern this consistent on one island from one government-backed developer is not luck, it's telling you something. Now, this brings us to Hudayriyat Golf Estates, which is probably the reason why you clicked on this video. So here is where it is at the time I'm recording this. The launch has just happened and it's just gone. It's completely sold out. And honestly, that surprised even me, because this launched right in the middle of all of the regional tension, all of the noise online and all of the conflict, but it still sold out. Now that tells you something on its own. When money is nervous, it goes where it feels safe, and a government-built island clearly qualified. Now, Hudayriyat Golf Estates is being positioned as one of the first proper island-based golf communities in the UAE. Full community built around an 18-hole golf course sitting in the middle of the island, about 2 minutes from the beach. Now, forget the fancy architecture and language for a second and just think about this. Why does a golf community actually matter? Because golf front land is one of the most supply limited things there is. There is only so much land you can physically put on a golf course, and once it's built, that's it. The supply is fixed forever. So in Dubai, golf villas in places like, for example, Jumeirah Golf Estates sell at a clear premium over identical villas just down the road. In Abu Dhabi, golf front stock is even rarer, with existing communities generally starting somewhere around 12 to 20 million dirhams and upwards. So Golf Estates gives Hudayriyat a third anchor. It already had the beaches, it already had the sport, now it has the golf. So you've got 3 different reasons for 3 different types of buyers who want in. Now, let's get into the pricing. The townhouses start the range with the 3-bedroom around 4.2 million and 4 bedrooms around 4.9 million. Then you have the smaller golf villas, the par 3 at about 4.9 million and the par 4 at around 6.6 million. The 4-bedroom golf homes sit around 7.4 million. Move up and the 5-bedroom range villas come in at around 10.3 million. And then the big stuff, the 6-bedroom fairway villas are around 26.8 million. And the 6-bedroom golf mansions are around 35.8 million. The payment plan is 40-60, so 40% during the construction and the rest on handover, which Modon has set for the second half of 2030. And here is the thing that actually matters, because put those numbers next to Abu Dhabi's existing golf front stock, which generally starts from 12 to 20 million, and you can see why this cleared so fast. On a like-for-like basis, it launched cheap, and that gap is the whole investment case. One more thing, pretty much everything clears the 2 million dirham mark, so buyers qualify for the 10-year golden visa, which opens it up beyond investors to families who want a long-term base here. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. If it's completely sold out, then what's the point? But here's the reality. On launches like this, units sometimes do come back to the developers. Sometimes over commitments, a payment doesn't go through, plans change, and that unit gets released again as a cancellation unit. So if you did miss the launch, it's not necessarily all over for you. A few of these pop back here and there, so if you're ready to move quickly when it does come back, you might still get lucky. That's exactly the kind of thing I'd keep an eye out for. So here is the honest investor logic, both sides of it. The case for Hudayriyat is genuinely strong. Fixed island supply that cannot be expanded, low density planning that cannot be reversed. A government-backed developer with basically no delivery risk, lifestyle infrastructure that is already running and not just promised, and a price gap between Hudayriyat and more established islands like Saadiyat that could close as this island matures. Now put all of that together and you're not looking at a random off-plan punt. You're looking at a master plan with a real structure behind it. But I'm not just gonna sit here and pretend like it's completely risk-free, because no property ever is. This is a long-term play. Handover is years away, and part of the island are still active construction sites, and living through that phase is a real thing to think about. And here's the big one. Not every single unit will perform the same. On a golf course community especially, your position on the course, your view, the plot, the price you actually got in will make a real difference between 2 homes that look almost identical on paper. The cheapest unit is rarely the smartest buy, and the island sounding impressive is not a reason to buy a specific unit. Anyone telling you property cannot lose is not being honest with you. So here's where I'll leave it. You cannot manufacture a natural island next to a capital city. You cannot rewind a master plan once the density is locked in, and you cannot fake a run of sellouts like this one. The window where you can still buy into Hudayriyat before it fully matures is still open right now. Now, windows like this do not stay open forever, and that's just how these cycles work. So if you're seriously looking at Hudayriyat, and especially Golf Estates, the most useful thing I can do is go through it with you properly. Which zone, which community, which actual unit makes sense for what you're trying to achieve, instead of the version that the marketing just wants you to see online. Now, if you do actually want to do that properly, please message me directly and we'll look together.